Hi, my name is GregH. I'm here to talk to you about life in a series of short blurbs. Your first question is likely, who am I and what are my qualifications? Well, I'm not a professional advice person like a shrink or a psychologist. I'm merely a person who over the years people have come to with real life problems. I'm a real life dealer, Abby. So I offer advice free of charge, no strings attached, no guarantees. I think that my ability to offer quality advice stems from two things. Being mathematically trained, I've always been good at putting the pieces together. In other words, I'm a good problem solver. So it starts with a good analytic mind. Secondly, and this is a big one, I'm a great listener. In general, people are poor listeners, and that is maybe a topic for a blurb in the future. It's amazing how frustrating, how often you have to repeat yourself to some people several times, even when you're directly talking to them. People are often so distracted they don't get 75% or more of what you're saying. Either they lack the capacity or the focus to absorb, or they just don't care enough. There's one person that I have in mind that would drive me nuts. I would be talking to them and they'd ask me a question and I'd attempt to answer the question. And before it's 25% finished with answering, they'd interrupt me and ask me another question. So I'd start to answer the second question, and before I'm 25% finished with that, they'd be interrupting me and asking me a third question, and then I would throw up my hand and say, could I at least please finish my thought? So I think what a person has to say to me is very important. I value what they have to say to me. And so if I'm going to pose solutions to problems, I first have to hear all the details. Once that has happened, then my analytic mind kicks in, and perhaps I come up with something quickly. But a very important thing is I don't want to give bad quality advice, BS in other words. So if I don't get something right away, if I haven't been over it a number of times, and life is repetitive, and that's another topic for the future, I'll take my time and I'll say, you know what, I have to mull things over, and I'll come back to you at another time. And I will do that because I do care. So anyway, all I can say to you is this is my guarantee in listening to my blurbs. They all may not be relevant to you, but I think that if you listen to a few of them, 5 or 6, you're going to hear some things that are going to be relevant to you, and they're going to be introspective. You're going to say, you know what? That applies to me. I haven't quite thought of it that way. So I'm going to try to show you things that in a way that will make you think more about yourself and perhaps improve the quality of your life. That's my goal. Anyway, so I don't want to go on really long with these blurbs. Like I want to keep them less than 5 minutes because I know the capacities that we all have to listen. So I want to start off with a really short blurb today. I call it Know Thyself. And what do I mean by that? I mean simply that we have to understand ourselves and be honest with ourselves about our abilities and weaknesses. Like for example, if you start off with a little exercise. Suppose you sit down and write a list of all your good qualities and your good points. And that may be a short list, it may be a long list. Hopefully it's a long list. So once you finish that, then write a second list. And on the second list, write all your weaknesses, your bad qualities, things that you don't do particularly well. And after you're done, look at the 2 lists. Now, if the first list is much longer than the second list, well, then you have something to put on the second list because that's not the way it should be. We're human beings. We all have problems. We all have weaknesses. We all have our flaws. No one is spared from that. And so it's really important for us to see life better, to be honest with ourselves, to understand our good points and our bad points. We want to understand our good points because then we know we can take that and accomplish more things knowing the things that we're capable of. But on the other hand, it's the bad things that get in the way of our accomplishments and carrying out things, whether it be jobs or relationships or whatever. And so we need to understand them too. And only by understanding them can we actually perhaps eliminate them and make our lives better. So know thyself. That means we must be honest and not fool ourselves. And I think that's a good point for us to end. And thank you very much for your time. And our next blurb, we're going to start a topic called solving our problems. Thank you.